Example 3. How can you solve 0 equals x squared minus 2x plus 3 by completing the square? There are different ways that we can solve this question, but it's asking us specifically to complete the square. So the first thing we're going to do is rewrite the equation. Then we're going to move the positive 3 to the left-hand side so we can isolate our x's on one side of the equation. So we want our constant on one side and we want the x's on the other side. Now we need to figure out what number we're going to add to both sides in order to complete a perfect square. So it's called completing the square because we're trying to make a perfect square that we can factor. The formula that we use is b over 2 squared. So if you look here, this -2 is our b value, which is the number, the coefficient that's paired with our x. So we get -2 divided by 2 and squared. That simplifies to equal 1. Whatever we add to one side of the equation, we must add to the other side of the equation so it balances. Then we factor. So the right-hand side of the equation has created a perfect square that we can factor, meaning that if we were to multiply this binomial by itself, we would get the trinomial above. Now this looks like a question that we've been working on where we've been solving. So the next thing that we do is we take the plus or minus square root of both sides. When we take the square root of both sides, we notice that we get a square root of a negative number, so it becomes our imaginary number. And then the last thing we need to do to get x by itself is we add 1 to each side. So we add 1, and there's our final solution. So if we were to separate this, our two solutions would be 1 plus I square root of 2 and 1 minus I square root of 2.